This is why I need yogas, because I deal with technology. Okay, welcome to our Sunday morning yoga class. It's always my favorite yoga class of the week, and I feel like I need this especially today. Things are feeling really tight and achy, so maybe it's the rain that settled in Tennessee. Let's just start in a seated, comfortable cross-legged position. And take a moment to become centered in your body, finding your posture, squaring your sitting bones to the mat, extending that tall spine, opening the chest, eyes are closed, rested in the sockets, face is soft. Take a moment just to feel your body. Take your hands and rub them on your legs. Our bodies crave human touch, even if it's our very own. And we'll do a meditation at the end of class, helping us to offer physical comfort to our own selves. Make that connection, feel the softness of your skin. Take your arms, your hands up to your arms. And feel the sensation, your skin on your palms. And take your right hand up to your chest, into your throat. And just gently feel the muscles in your throat and your neck. Deep breath here. Really centering yourself, becoming more present in your own body. And let's take our left hand to our bellies. Begin to deepen that breath. Deep, deep into the belly. Expanding the entire chest cavity and stomach on the inhale. Contracting, tightening on the exhale. Really finding softness in this breath. Creating a nice full inhale and a long, slow exhale. Checking back in to make sure that the muscles in your face are soft. Now imagine that breath coming from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head and exhaling from the crown of the head here to the base of the spine. Imagine yourself pulling energy from the earth up through your body, the crown of your head, and exhaling that energy throughout your body as you breathe from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. Inhaling all the way up, exhaling all the way down. Let's take 3 or 4 more breaths here. And when you're ready, return your hands to your knees. And let your wrists just drape over the knee. And we'll begin to work on stretching into the neck, shoulders, and upper spine. So let's just take that left ear and tip it toward the left shoulder, really opening up the entire right side of the neck. So creating as much space as you can get from your right ear to your right shoulder. And it might help to really push that right shoulder down and push the right ear up and squeeze into the left side of the neck. Always remembering to use the breath and release. And let's bring that stretch to the left side of the neck and leaning to the right side. Really squeezing that right ear to the right shoulder, lengthening between the left shoulder, left ear. Again, using that breath to relax and soften the stretch and deepen it. Again, left shoulder, left ear. Stretch between the right shoulder and the right ear. You might find yourself a little bit deeper into the stretch here. Push that right shoulder down, lift that right ear up, and maybe tilt the chin forward just a little bit to bring that stretch to the back of your neck. Taking long, slow breaths. And I think maybe my headphones might have died. Sherry, I hope you can still hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you just fine.
Okay. Just let me know if you can't. I just
Okay.
heard it was shutting off. Okay, let's take our right ear to the right shoulder. Again, opening the left side and dipping our chin a little bit farther forward so we can bring that stretch closer to the back of the neck. Okay, turn to neutral. This time we'll look over the left shoulder. See if we can really tuck that chin farther back behind the left shoulder. And now push it farther behind the right shoulder. Let's release it. Dipping our chin to our chest. Pushing our shoulders down as we push our chin into the chest. Feeling that stretch down the entire length of the spine. Remembering to keep tall, strong posture and a gentle, relaxed face. And reverse it. Let's look up. And down one more time. We'll do a complete rotation with our chin clockwise and then counterclockwise at your own pace. Really pushing the chin to the farthest reaches of your stretch. Never to pain. And reverse it. Bring our face back to neutral. Taking a deep breath here. And again, maybe connect again with your legs, feeling the skin, bringing softness and ease with touch. Okay, let's take our shoulders in a counterclockwise or a clockwise rotation. Let's bring them up, down, inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we bring them down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. You might hear some grinding in these shoulder joints and creaking. Movement brings lubrication into all of our joints, so we want to keep them moving throughout our maturing years. Okay, reverse it. Let's take it counterclockwise. I'm just shrugging them up, pushing them forward, pressing them down, finding the farthest reaches of our shoulder joints. Let's take our fingertips to the tops of our shoulders and we'll rotate counterclockwise, trying to touch those elbows in front and dropping them, lowering them, bringing them back around. Squeezing those shoulder blades together as we bring our elbows back. And again, touching in front. Squeezing shoulder blades as we bring them back. And then let's reverse it. Notice the feel of your fingertips on your shoulders. Just want to keep you mindful of human touch and how that can comfort and ease tension, create awareness. Okay, last rotation. Let's bring our right elbow forward across our chest, reaching with the left hand to the right elbow, really pulling into our shoulder joint. If it helps, you can move your head one side or the other, dip your chin, just trying to find the deep edges of the stretch, trying to release all of that tightness that gets packed away in the far reaches of our joints. Okay, let's bring that elbow over the head. Use the left hand to gently press it a little bit farther, stretching into the right rib cage, right onto the right hip. Remembering that breath and release. This time our left elbow comes forward, reaching with our right hand, crossing the elbow across our chest. Taking those breaths. You can tilt your head, dip your chin, finding those far corners of tension. Let's take the elbow up over our head. And pull it to the right side. Stretching the shoulder joint, the right rib cage. And release it. Okay, we'll work on trying to get our fingertips touching behind our back. So take the palm of the right hand and press it into the back side of the neck or upper back, depending on your flexibility. And take the left hand with the back of the hand toward the back and try and get those fingertips to touch. Always using that breath to relax and soften and help you ease into the stretch a little bit farther. Release it. This time our left palm to the back of our neck, the back of our right hand to our back. Again, reaching our fingertips together. And hopefully you're starting to notice a little bit more flexibility in your neck and shoulders as we work more consistently on these exercises. I definitely have. Release it. And then shake out that tension. And let's press the walls apart. Really push the butt of the heel of our palm toward the wall. You'll notice a nice stretch in the back side of the forearm, back side of the upper arm, and then take your fist and pull it in, squeezing those shoulder blades together, opening up the chest, Using that breath. And then our palms push the walls apart. Take our fists and pull it back in. See how tight we can get that space between our shoulder blades. And again, bringing the hands back to the legs. Maybe just feeling that skin again. Using the breath to settle ourselves. And we'll move into some fun stretching poses. I do have about a dozen animal poses that I want to go through today. And I think it's kind of fun to just have a class focused on some of those poses. And this might be fun, Shari, for your grandkids too. Might be a fun thing for you to be able to teach them. So let's go ahead though. And before we do some of those, let's take our foot into our perineum, square those sitting bones, lengthen the spine, and we'll do a half forward fold with our leg in, and we'll bring our arms up on the inhale. And our goal is to keep our shoulders parallel to the floor, our chest flat to the leg, hinging from the hip. And we're starting to flex into our spine and we haven't really warmed it up or moved it. So be very gentle with yourself on this. Try to get the center of your chest aligned with the knee and trying to keep both shoulders parallel to the floor. You'll notice that you want to open up to the inside and really try and dip that right shoulder parallel to the left. And when you feel like you're supported, you can have your hands to the mat, your elbows to the mat. Then you can allow the breath to ease you into this forward fold. Always inhaling, exhaling through the nose. Eyes are closed. Using your mindfulness to ease up those points of tension. Okay, let's release it. And you can support your spine by walking your hands up as you're lifting your torso. This time we'll come forward and we'll take the left elbow to the inside of the left knee and we'll come forward. And then we'll reach forward over that left foot with our right hand. So again, we're opening up into this right side of our rib cage, into the right hip. And allow that breath to bring you in a little bit farther. See if you can reach towards your toes with that right hand. A nice stretch in the middle back here. Okay, let's release it. And then we'll come into this half forward fold one more time, trying to get the center of our chest over our knee. And come forward. And allow yourself to use the breath to ease into the fold. Centering our chest over the knee, keeping those shoulders parallel to the floor. Release it. Come back up one more time. Left elbow to the inside of the left knee. Right arm reaches over towards the foot. And you can even mess with this a little bit and point your hands towards the wall in front, or you can take your fist or the butt of your palm and really push that and you'll feel it a little bit deeper into your side. Let's release it. And we'll switch legs. Our right leg comes out. And our left foot comes in. Extending the spine, always wanting to stabilize the spine and grow it before we flex. Inhaling, arms up, flexing from the hip, coming forward. And again, you'll feel tightness here. Aim to get that chest centered right over the knee. Finding the form of this pose that's working for you. You may have your hands onto the mat. You may have your hands to your legs, depending on your flexibility and where you're at. See if you can flex that heel a little bit more and bring the stretch into the calf. Always using the breath to fall a little bit deeper into the pose. And release. And we'll take the right elbow to the inside of the right knee, left arm reaches up over. And we'll stretch into the left side of the rib cage. And you can push those fingertips forward. You can take the butt of the heel of your hand. I don't know why I keep saying that. Push it towards the wall and feel it deeper into the rib cage. Trying to get this elbow a little bit farther down. Really giving our back a good stretch here. Okay, release it. Inhale, arms up. We'll forward fold one more time. Forward fold, flexing that heel, trying to keep that right leg as straight as we can. Lowering the chest directly over our knee, keeping it centered. Trying to get these shoulders parallel to the floor. Maybe you can try dipping your chin closer to your chest. Feel how that changes the stretch in the back of the leg. Connecting with the breath. And releasing out of the pose. And then we'll bring that right elbow to the inside of the right knee one more time. Left arm reaches over. Even in a lot of these stretching poses, the muscles opposite of the stretch, you'll often find them strengthening even as we're working on stretching. And that flexibility. One more breath here. You can release it. And then bring the leg out in front of us and we'll stretch out our knees a little bit. Sometimes when we keep them bent for a while, we get a lot of tension in them. We'll work into our hips for a moment here, bringing our calf up into our arms as if our calf is a baby. Our foot can come to the crook of the left arm, or you can just hold it with your left hand. So however far into this pose you can get, find what's working for you. And we're going to cradle this baby. So this lower half of our leg is our baby. We're going to cradle it. Make sure our spine is tall. And just for a moment, let's press this baby closer to our chest. And you should feel a nice stretch all across the glute here. The taller you get your spine, the more you'll feel that stretch. And see if you can lift the foot a little bit higher and press it in. There's a lot of tension that builds up into our hips. This is a great one to release it. So we'll bring a little bit of movement into this by rocking it back and forth. And listen to your body. And as that hip loosens up and warms up a little bit with some movement here, you can start speeding up that movement, making it a little bit more vigorous, really opening our hip joint here. Keeping the foot as high as we can get it, the calf pulled in as close as we can get to our chest, keeping a tall spine and our face neutral. Okay, a couple more here, and then we'll drop our right foot to the left thigh. And keep it pulled in as tight to your body as you can. Lengthen the spine and press the knee down. Bringing a new stretch into that hip. Pulling it up to the chest, keeping that spine tall and pressing down. And then crossing it over the thigh, and we'll do a spinal twist here. Keeping the chin and chest aligned if you have low back issues. Otherwise, you're welcome to go a little bit farther into the pose. Lengthening the spine always before we twist. So grow your spine nice and tall, chest is open. Begin to twist towards this right side. Pushing our right elbow back and our left shoulder forward. And if you'd like to come a little bit farther into the pose, drop your right arm, hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And you can gaze to the wall behind you and add a little neck stretch. Okay, release it. Shake that knee out, bring the left foot into the perineum. Actually, we're doing this rock the baby, okay? So bring the left calf up, pulling the left foot into the crook of the right elbow, remembering to keep that spine nice and tall, bringing the left arm around the left knee, and let's push or bring that baby in closer to our chest here. So we're bringing our calf closer to our chest. Our spine is tall, our chest is open. And now maybe try and lift that foot just a little bit higher and feel how it really deepens that stretch into the hip. So if you can get that foot just a little bit higher. Now press that baby in just a little bit closer. And if you're not able to get your foot into the crook of the elbow, keep it right here on your hand and keep it as close as you can. So find the form of the pose that works for you. And then we'll start to bring a little bit of movement in, checking again to make sure that our spine is tall, chest is open. We need some slow movement here. Not letting that foot fall, keeping that foot as high as we can. The calf as close to our body as we can. As you start feeling that hip joint release, you can start bringing in a little bit more movement into it, increasing the speed of the rocking motion. Again, here's another great pose where we're holding our body, feeling it, getting some of this human touch and connection to our own body. And it's amazing the amount of comfort that you can just give your own body here. Okay, a couple more, and then release our left foot to our right thigh. Extend the spine, nice and tall. Press the left knee towards the mat. Bring it towards the chest, and towards the mat, towards the chest, towards the mat. And then let's cross the left foot over the right. And we'll work on some spinal twists here. Always grow the spine, open the chest, stabilize the spine. Sitting bones should be parallel to the floor. And you can connect your chin to your chest here with your fingers and thumbs. Inhale and twist to the left. So we're twisting to the outside of the left leg. Really pushing that left shoulder back, the right elbow forward. And if you're ready, you can hook that right elbow to the outside of the left knee and deepen that spinal twist a little bit. And gaze back over the left shoulder. Really stretching the neck. Remembering that breath. And then as much as you're able in these poses, we always want to keep our eyes closed so that we can really be connected with what's going on inside our body. Okay, we will take some animal poses now. So these are really, really fun. First of all, what I want to do is lie down on our back. And we haven't really worked on fish pose It's one that is not my favorite, so we don't do it very often, but it's probably not my favorite because I need to do it more. So we're going to bring our body, our torso's weight onto our elbows, and we'll lift our chest up and then place the top of our head to the mat. And then let ourselves relax here as much as possible, opening up the throat, lifting the chest. Remembering that breath. Okay, and then release it, coming back down out of it. Take a couple of breaths. We'll lift ourselves back up into it one more time. Weight of our torso comes up onto our forearms and elbows, lifting the chest as high as we can get it. And dropping the top, the crown of our head to the mat. Resting here in our fish pose. And you can point your toes here. You can also bring your hands to heart center or extend your arms up over your head. Focusing on the breath, lifting the chest, stretching those arms. And let's release it back to our elbows. Take a breath here. And then slide down off of the crown of your head. Okay, to reverse that. So that was fish pose. That was our first animal pose. Press our knees into our chest here and reverse that tension that may have built up into our spine. Okay, the next one I want to work on is, let's see. Let's go ahead and get back to our knees and we'll go to camel. We'll open up our chest and our throat again. So legs are hip distance apart. Our spine is nice and tall. Our chest is open. We're going to lift the palms up and bring them around, pressing them into the back of our hips. And then lifting our chin up. This is a half camel. And a full camel, you can drop your hands to your heels. And then open up the chest this way. Breathing and release. Up. And then we'll come to extended puppy. So another animal pose here. Hike those hips up into the air, reaching forward. And coming back up to our knees. And we'll do camel again. So lengthen the spine, open the chest. Inhale, reach your arms around, press into the hips. Or you can continue on to full camel. So we're really trying to press our elbows together, lift our chin, focus on the breath, eyes are closed, pushing those hips forward, squeezing the glutes. And release it and come back to extended puppy. Forehead to the mat, reaching forward. Now let's move into a rabbit pose. So we're going to reach around and grab our heels and drop our forehead to the mat and lift up through the spine. So we're creating some resistance here with this grip on our heels. So we can pull our arms away from our heels, lifting our spine, bringing that crown of the head closer to the mat. Really pulling up and stretching space between each vertebrae. Okay, we'll release it And bring our right leg forward, keep our left knee to the mat, bring our right leg forward. Straighten this right leg. And we'll come up here. And we'll do a half monkey pose. So bringing our palms down to the mat, keeping this right leg as straight as we can get it. Dropping these palms. You might find some stretch or some bend in this knee to be able to feel the extent of the stretch for your body. So pay attention to what your body wants. Trying to straighten this right leg. Pushing our right hip back. Trying to separate it from our right heel. Flex the right heel. Take some deep breaths here. And then let's bring our right knee in between our hands. We'll do pigeon. So drop the left leg back a little bit farther. Trying to drop both hips parallel to the mat. And you can come up, open up the chest. As you allow these to drop a little bit. Okay. And then let's reach forward a little bit, coming over this chest. And I am going to check my messages. I'm hoping that my headphones aren't. Okay, let's work on the other side. This time we'll bring our left leg forward, straightening it out. Come up nice and tall here. And see if you can create more space between your heel and your knee. And again, we're coming into half monkey and flexing from the hip, always keeping a flat spine, bringing our hands down to the mat. Working on trying to get this left leg as straight as we can. Really flexing the left heel. Bring ourselves a little bit farther forward. Continuing to stretch. Now we'll move our left knee in between both of our hands and come into our pigeon pose on the left side. So the left knee is between our hands. Our left foot is in the front of our right hip. We'll do a nice tall pigeon here, opening the chest. Really working on getting both of these hips square to the mat, lowering them. And then let's bring our arms forward. We can work on this lizard pose here. You can expand these arms out further forward. Release. Turn to table pose or cat and cow. I did a class for some kids and it was so fun to go through all of these poses that are animal poses and have them try and guess what animal it was. So the movement on cat-cow comes between your shoulders in the middle and upper spine, not in the low spine. Always inhaling as we open up, exhale as we close down, inhale as we open up, exhale as we close down. Okay, forearms come to the mat. And we can put our fingers together, so lace our fingertips together, and we're going to stand up here and work on a dolphin pose. So lift the hips, straightening the legs, and walk the feet forward. as far as you can get them, keeping them nice and straight. Dropping the heels to the mat, straightening out the legs. Remembering this breath here. And again, this pose is a lot of strengthening into the arms, torso, core. Keep your core engaged. And a lot of stretching the shoulder joints as well as the entire length of the leg. Okay. Bringing ourselves back, separating our feet, coming into a squat here. Find space between our knees to lower ourselves. Opposite hands to opposite elbows. Dropping our chin to our chest. Finding a real nice squat here. And while we're here, we can do a crow, so we can add one more animal here. So palms to the mat, and we'll just do preparatory crow. So if you're able to get up into full crow, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we'll just do preparatory work for crow. So palms flat to the mat, our heels are down, and we'll put the weight of our legs onto the back of our upper arm as we come up to our tiptoes. So come up to the tiptoes, and then start pressing into the back of your upper arm with your shin, and then coming up to the very, very tip toes, pressing our palms into the mat. Working on some strengthening here to get us ready to work on the crow pose. Come back down, release it, shake it out a little bit, and we'll try it one more time. Palms to the mat, get the backs of your upper arm right to the shins, and then release from the heels, turning to come up to our tiptoes, and now to the very, very tiptoes, pressing down with our weight into our palms. Okay, we can release it here. And then we'll drop our knees to the mat, keeping them wide. Lace the side of our feet come down. We'll stretch here for a moment. Now we can bring the inside of our feet to the mat, lowering our hips to the space. We'll find our frog pose here. And you can move those knees out a little bit farther if you're able. Stretching into the hips here. And try and press the pelvis down. And then we'll come up to a lion pose. So we're going to lift our hands, rotate our heels to the wall in front of us, the heels of our palms to the wall in front of us. Lifting our chest to open it, lifting our chin, coming up to a nice lion pose here. Release. We can bring our knees together. Might take a little bit of work because we've had those hips stretched out to the side quite a bit. Come back to a couple of cat cows here. Stretching out. We'll come back to a squat. This is a pose I really want to work on because it's a difficult one for me. So in our squat pose, and if it's difficult for you to be down on your knees like this, then you can try this on a seated position or just on your knees. Find a pose that works better for you if this causes too much grief for your knees. Bringing your left elbow around to the outside of your right leg. And then you can reach your chest a little bit farther towards the side. Now bring the hands around your legs. So it's kind of like a little pretzel move here. So you can twist that. And then we can wrap this left arm around our back, opening up to the side. And the angle of this camera makes this look really awkward, more awkward than it is. Okay, release. And we'll come around to the other side and just bring this right elbow, hook it around to the outside of the left knee. Put a little bit of a twist into the spine. And then bring your right hand to the outside of your right foot with your elbow hooked to the outside of the knee. So you might be able to see it a little better on this side. And then take the left arm and bring it around to the back. And some people are able to get their hands together on this pose. It's a lot of work for me to do that. Okay, let's release out of it. We'll come back down to sitting. And I'm looking through our poses to see if we have all of the stretches that we need. Okay, come down, we'll open up our thighs a little bit, and then we'll work on our final relaxation. Place the small of your back into the mat. Let's bring our legs up to an inversion. Helping gravity to work on our blood flow, to get new blood, oxygen into our heart and into our lungs. And you're welcome to stay in waterfall pose. So if you stay in waterfall pose, work on straightening the legs, bringing them straight up from the hips, kneecaps pulled into the thigh, heel is flexed, navel tucked to spine, pelvic floor lifted. And if you're interested in going into a little bit farther into an inversion, lifting the hips, creating a saddle for your hips with your hands, and then allow your hips to rest into your hands. Bringing those hips again, or the legs straight up from the hips. Working on some strengthening, some balance, and relaxation. Anytime we undo the work that gravity does on us on a daily basis, we bring ourselves more into a relaxed state. Eyes are closed, relaxing. You can lower yourself back to waterfall or stay in waterfall. And we'll bring our legs, our knees to the outside of our chest, reaching to our feet, to the outside of our feet, pulling our knees down a little bit farther. This is happy baby. And I like to roll from side to side and see if I can let that mat work on massaging into some of these muscles. And let's bring our feet to the mat, wrapping our wrists or our fingertips around our ankles. We'll stretch into the front of our thighs. Close to being done here. Make these last few stretches really count. Right knee dips, gazing over the right shoulder. Just pause here a moment and let that breath lower us into this pose a little bit farther. Release it. Left knee dips, gazing over the left shoulder. Using that breath, bring us a little bit farther into the pose. Eyes can be nice and closed and rested here. Okay, release it. Right knee, right shoulder. Notice how much farther you come into it this time. Doesn't take much for the front of our thighs to loosen up. Left knee, left shoulder. Right knee, right shoulder, a little bit farther this time. Left knee, left shoulder. A little bit farther here. Right knee, right shoulder. Left knee, left shoulder. And then bringing the soles of our feet together, allowing our knees to just fall out to the side. Palms are up. Let's take 6 or 8 real nice, deep, long breaths here. Releasing into these hips, softening the face, the jaw, making sure the brow is not furrowed. And it might be helpful for you to place your left hand on your chest, your right hand on your belly. And again, tuning back into that physical touch, allowing it to calm yourself. And one last breath here. We'll do our final relaxation and meditation in a seated cross-legged position. And this meditation is called self-supporting, and it goes along with what we've been talking about for this class about using the physical touch with your own self to calm yourself in times of tension or stress. This is another good thing that you can use in your personal life. You can teach this to family members or even like students. It would be a really great idea. So our mind is always taking cues from our body, and our body is always taking cues from our mind. And our mind follows a lot of what our body is doing. And so if we can teach ourselves to calm our body, then we can calm our minds. So we'll find our comfortable cross-leg position here, breathing deeply through the nostrils. Our eyes can be resting softly in the socket. All of the skin on our body draped over the structures of the bones and the muscles. Returning to that spinal breath, inhaling from the base of the spine up through the crown of the head, exhaling from the crown of the head down through the base of the spine. Now take a moment to become present with what's happening in your body. What's present there? What are you noticing? Are you noticing relaxation or discomfort, ease, tightness or tension? Notice what's there without attaching the emotion to it. For the next few breaths, try and release all thinking and pay attention to what is showing up in your body. And let's work in the next few minutes of being able to offer support to our body. And we can begin doing that by taking our right hand and bringing it just below the shoulder to our left arm. You might feel the warmth of the skin here, the softness of the skin, the form of the arm. Almost as if you're bringing yourself into a hug. And you can take your left arm just below the right shoulder and embrace yourself. Returning to that breath, offering support to yourself. Calming and soothing tension, anxiety, and stress. One more breath here. Return your hands to your legs. Move your hands up and down your legs, along with the breath, and be present with your own body. Returning to the breath from the base of the spine, out the crown of the head. Exhaling from the crown of the head, through the body and out the base of the spine. Now let's take our right hand and bring it to the back of our head. I think I just lost my headphones.
Okay, I think we're back. So bringing your right hand to the back of your head and remembering that this is the same place that you were supported as a baby. Feel the comfort that this hand placed in the back of your head offers you. And you can bring your other hand around. Returning to the breath. And with the next exhale, releasing your hands back to your legs. Connecting again to your skin, to your foundation. And then bring your right hand up to the chest. Placing our hand on our chest connects us to the vagus nerve, which is responsible for calm, comfort, helps to increase oxytocin in the system. And you'll notice naturally when you are being sympathetic with a friend or going through a difficult time, your hand naturally comes to your chest. This helps to release those healing, calming chemicals, hormones into your body. We'll take a last few breaths here. And return our hands to heart center. Allowing a few deep cleansing breaths to come. Exhaling through the nose with an audible sigh to release the last drops of tension that may be present. And as we close our class today, I offer you gratitude for joining me, and my wish for you is comfort and support. Namaste. Thanks for joining and being patient with technology. I'm learning to become more zen with it. So have an awesome Sunday. See you on Tuesday.
Thanks, Melissa. That was great.